by them. You said they have diverse strategies. They obviously showed it here, whether item buildups that worked for them or just the tactical movement for them, their entire team. It just really, really worked nicely. So I loved the way they played it. We'll see if MiTH Trust can either perfect what they were doing wrong last time or change up their strategy completely, or if it's going to be Lowyat to take the series 2-0.
Yeah, it should be a pretty interesting game to see. And MiTH's going for the first pick of the Lich, so possibly going to be seeing some dual lanes being run by them at the moment. Lich is, of course, very, very strong when running a dual lane, being able to pull whatever lane he's in back to your own tower so you can farm safely, and really nice support. And of course, he is kind of level dependent. He wants to hit level 6, level 7, whatever as fast as possible so he can keep spamming out that Frost Nova as well as that Chain Frost to help out in team fights. So he really does excel, I would say, with a dual lane rather than tri lane. But I mean, the biggest flaw from Lich, the reason why he faded out of competitive Dota around about a year or so ago is because he's so susceptible to pushes. Because he is always going to be denying a creep in his lane every wave, every 2 times a wave at later levels, and that means that hey, that creep wave has got 2 less creeps, so you can take the tower a lot easily and just push down the wave. So maybe going to see Loyat responding with a little bit more of a push-oriented lineup, something like a Chen or an Enchantress or a Nature's Prophet, but again, might not be their kind of style. They do usually like to get a hardcore farmer for Lance on that easy lane, so maybe they're just gonna kind of ignore the Lich and just pick up something else to just create space for Lance to farm up.
Yeah, I think it's okay to ignore it if you feel very, very, very confident in your lineup. But another way that a lot of the Western teams that I've seen have tried to deal with it, if they haven't opted to ban it, is to put pressure on it. Whatever lane the Lich is in, you try to put 2 or 3 heroes in. It's the same dynamic that you're talking about. He fell out of favor because he's easy to be pushed against. He has a significant weakness in the first 2 levels of the game, and even in level 3, level 4, he's not that great compared to most supports. Other than this, of course, huge benefit of sacrificing creeps. So if you can put the pressure out with heroes like Chen early game coming from the jungle to push down on the towers, getting the tower kill that early on is going to be much more influential than just getting like 3 or 4 sacrifices to help out the mid in a level advantage war. It's just that's kind of my take on it, but still great hero pickups one way or another. Both sides have some really really good things going for them.
Yeah, they definitely do, and I do have to say I like the Chen pickup as well as the Life Stealer. Of course, that Chen, like we were just saying, able to push the towers down, so maybe we will see a little bit more aggression coming out from Loyat. But Timbersaw, the second pickup for MiTH, so a very strong hero, capable of just nuking down heroes incredibly efficiently, and maybe Loyat being forced to pick up some kind of lockdown as well as nuking power. I think that Lion is one of the best counters to Timbersaw in the game at the moment. He has been picked up a couple of times, especially by, I mean, not so much Loyat and MiTH, but I've seen him taken a lot of times recently by teams like Titan, who quite enjoy that nuking power. But I guess we'll see what they go for. I mean, Mosin and Xiangzai on the supports, they do like to roam. And I mean, a couple of games ago, we saw them go for a Sanking and Leshrac roaming combo, and they just spent the whole game ganking, ganking, ganking. So something like that we could see coming out from Loyat. But they have already got the Chen, so they have to get something that combos quite well with that.
I definitely think that there's a lot that they can do with that composition already, and of course, there's plenty to build off of. We still have 3 more heroes for each side to be picked up here, and right now, going into the next banning phase, they're going to be taking out the Dragonite, a very, very powerful mid hero who can stun the Lifestealer even before the Rage comes out if he gets like a Shadow Blade or something. That can be really, really nice. Unfortunately, kind of odd that they didn't pick it up for their push lineup, but if it's not the mid they're looking for, then obviously they're going to change their tactics. So we'll see. They obviously have something very intended for this mid pickup. In the meantime, Pugna and Puck will be taken off the board, and that is going to make it so that their push isn't as high potential with the Pugna, and their ganking potential might not be as substantial with the Puck, but they still have options. Queen of Pain and Puck are banned. You can still pick up a Storm Spirit. You can still pick up a Clockwork, things like that. But for right now, we're seeing the Rubik on the board.
I like the Ruby pickup again because he's got that natural resistance to magic with a null field. So in later levels, a bit later into the game, that'll be quite helpful. And with the most recent buff to him, we have seen a couple of teams just go for the Arcanum Scepter Rush on the Rubik, so he can just steal as many spells as possible. When you're versing heroes like the Lich and Timbersaw, and I'm assuming MiTH will pick up 3 other heroes that do have spells as well, so he should have a variety of spells that are going to be really effective for him to steal, especially if he can get, that Chain Frost, which is quite easy to steal in team fights, as well as a Timber Chain. for nice escaping all the chakram for even more AoE team fights. So this also kind of forces MiTH's hand because at the moment it looks like they are going for a little bit more of an AoE lineup. They want to have, team fight dominance, and with that Rubik pickup, they have to consider what are they going to take. If they go for, say, bad example, but something like a Tide Hunter, it's very easy to steal that ultimate. So they have to make sure they take heroes that Rubik isn't going to have a field day just saying, I'll take that, and I'll take that, and I'll take that, and running amok with it.
A lot of potential. We'll see if it actually is put to use. We've also seen some experimentation of running Rubik on the mid lane, not just the supportive role, though I'm sure he'll be very, very effective in the support as he always has been, setting up a telekinesis into open wounds, and that's plenty of lockdown to guarantee a Chen rotating like a Centaur or a Hellbear if you want to go for a first blood gank. But in general, he's still going to have his work cut out for him in the fact that he is a very squishy hero, very low HP, very low base armor. Alchemist is one of the many who can capitalize on that very effectively. And MiTH Trust, they saw what Lowyat could do with the Alchemist. Now they want to throw it back the other way. And could be pretty effective. I mean, if the Alchemist gets an early basher, the Lifestyler's Rage won't be as reliable as far as surviving throughout the team fight and kind of staying on his target as he will. So there's kind of a nice little interaction between those two heroes. But beyond that, it's still kind of Lifestealer's game to take away. If he can get an armlet, a phase boots, maybe a Midas early, then I still think he's going to be able to do a lot of work against heroes like Lich.
Yeah, and I do kind of look at this lineup thus far coming out from Lowyat and feel like they need a little bit more AoE damage, but they banned out the Queen of Pain. Maybe we could be seeing that Storm Spirit like you mentioned. And with the ban out of the Dragon Knight and Queen of Pain, that could be something that they're looking at. I don't honestly know if DDZ is a strong Storm Spirit player, but it could be really nice to have that initiation with the Life Stealer inside of the Storm Spirit. Otherwise, something like a Clockwork could also work, or Enigma. That was not what I was thinking at all, but hey, that could help.
Well, I
Maybe.
mean, it has pretty good potency. As far as laning it, I'm not sure if this is going to be like a weird off-lane Enigma or something like that, because Chen generally wants to control his own jungle of his own volition. But I don't know. It's definitely high potential in the sense that they only currently have two disables drafted, but it's pretty early in the draft to say that you can't counter him. They still have two picks left, and right now Concoction and the Chain Frost are both tools that will interrupt that black hole. One even piercing through magic immunity. So I can't say he's going to be that beneficial for the black hole, but with the Eidolon push, with the Chen creeps, the one really, really good thing they're going to have going for them is that the Chain Frost won't do nearly as much damage. You put down all those summons, it's going to be bouncing all over the place and not hitting any of the targets you prefer.
Yeah, and it also worth mentioning that Lowyat have picked up the Rubik first, so Rubik is one of the best counters to Black Hole since you can steal it very, very easily. Also, considering I'm Australian, I'm pretty sure you have to give a really good Toby One impression this game. Just putting it out there, or else I'll be
Fair enough.
offended as my Australianness. Um, but yeah, so Batrider that coming up from Mistrust, so yet another hero that goes through the BKB with the Flaming Lasso. So this Enigma, I think, is going to have a really hard time trying to get any black holes off. He's going to have the Batrider wanting to blink in, Lich with that really long AoE range, casting, I don't even know, cast range on the Chain Frost. Is also going to be standing back, and I think maybe if they want to take the Enigma, it would have been better as a fifth pick
Yeah.
because it would have really given them a lot more room to say, you know, hey, this is going to be a surprise pick, and maybe MiTH Trust would have picked up another Malay hero that they could just counter instantly with it.
Unless they have something even more surprising for their fifth pick.
Yeah, well,
That's the only thing that I could think of.
that wouldn't surprise me either. Surprising is the surprising of the surprising for Logout.net.
But it's kind of going to be a little bit more orthodox. It is going to be
Is
a
it?
third support to some extent. But again,
Yeah.
if they run the Rubik on the mid, then the Visage and Chen are still going to do work on their lane. And then again, the Enigma can work on the off lane. So it's not the exact cure that I would have expected, but it's still a very popular meta pickup and it will work for their laning situation here.
Yeah, and I think, well, it must be maybe the Rubik mid, or they could be doing something weird like a Visage mid. But Rubik in mid lane, I have a bit of fear for him. If the Batrider is going to be the hero he's encountering, I mean, it's either going to be most likely the Timbersaw or the Batrider, but I think that Batrider in this game is going to be better suited to the mid lane, and I mean, Rubik's going to have a hard time. He really, really is. And also something else we didn't mention, but that Batrider Flaming Lasso is a really nice counter to the Nexus Rage because he'll
Sure.
just be able to grab him and drag him into team fight. So it's worth mentioning it as well. And I mean, at the moment, it looks like Lowyat have been severely outdrafted. I'm putting it out there. I mean, their draft is strong, but it seems also very weak. It's four intelligence hero, one strength hero. They haven't got very much nuking power. They've really only got the Visage and like Fade Bolt, I suppose, and maybe a bit of Test of Faith. But again, they're kind of not that big. It's not, like a Lion or a Lena with the finger of death saying, "What's up? Come
Yeah.
at me, bro." So how they can take the Timbersaw down and they MiTH's going the Mirana, so it must be support Mirana? I don't understand these drafts. No, Lakel's is farming Mirana. Support Alchemist it must be.
Might be. I mean, you can't go aggressive tri-lane with the Lich, so it's kind of still hard to tell. But it is going to be a supportive Alchemist, that's for sure. That's the only thing that I can really get from that draft. But one thing I want to go over with the Visage pick as that fifth pick, one hero that was in the pool that I would think would be infinitely better for this situation would be a Vengeful Spirit. Shadow Demon is not too bad either, but if you want a support that can provide some good setup as well as some great lane presence, if you combine the Vengeful Spirit with the Chen and you get some points in your aura early, that puts more push potential out there. And along with that, you get the swap versus Bat Rider. Swapping either him or his target will break the lasso. And if you want a Nyx Bomb, you can swap one target out, you swap your Nyx in with the Infest active, and suddenly you have a team fight on your hands. So I really just, I kind of feel like there's so much more utility. And sure, if Lowyat feels more comfortable with the Visage, all more power to him. But there are, in my opinion, better support pickups to pick at that stage in the draft. But either way, I am myself curious to see how Lakel's plays this Mirana, where he plays this Mirana, and how effective these arrows are going to be in the near future.
Yeah, and we'll go through the plays quickly before they head to lane, then we can have a bit more information on what exactly they are doing. But on the top lane, we are going to see on the side of MiTH, TNK running. I mean, sorry, he's not the top lane. Looking in the mid lane, TNK on the Alchemist. Bung Silver T is going to be off lane on the Timbersaw, ABBAA on the mid lane on the Batrider. Lich being played by SD. He's looking like he's going to head to the top lane and maybe give a little bit of a hand to Bunks over OT for the first couple of levels. And Lakel's on that Priestess of the Moon playing that farming bottom.
Interesting setup here. Looking over at Lowyat, we do have Bad Slow Game. Going to be running currently on the safe lane as the Enigma. Looking over at the mid, we have DDC in a pretty good position to kind of run a dual lane maybe on mid. I'm not sure. Maybe he'll solo. He has the magic stick. He knows he's going against Bad. That's all I know. But that's DDC and the Visage. Then we're looking over at the Rubik, and that is, I'm never going to get this right, but Zhang Zai. And
Shanghai.
I'll
It's
call
like
it close enough.
Xiang.
Zhang, okay.
I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that is the Rubik. Then we're looking at Mozun on the Chen, currently towards the Radiant Jungle. And then we also have a Lance on his Lifestealer down bottom.
And I am so interested to see what they do with DDZ in the mid lane. He does know he's going to be up against ABBA, like you said. He has picked up a magic stick, but what a weird lane. And I guess maybe what they're doing is going for, maybe a fast mech, a fast Arcanum Scepter. But of course, they've got three viable mech carries with the Enigma, who's going to be farming the easy lane, the Chen, who's going to be in the jungle getting farm up. So do they really want to have DDZ farm up the mech? Maybe he's going to go for just a straight Arcanum Scepter rush and have those three familiars flying around doing damage, or maybe he's going to go for a MiTH for extra levels. It's really hard to tell, but I mean, ultimately, very, very weird. I've never seen a mid Visage before in a competitive game. I'm going to be completely honest. But I think Batrider should have a pretty easy lane. What can DDZ really do? We can already see he's got a pretty slow turning time as it is. He's a very, clunky hero. His base attack damage is only about 56, so Batrider with a couple of stacks and the sticky napalm should be having a pretty easy time farming. And I don't know, I think DDZ is going to have a very hard lane, but I mean, Lowyat must have something in mind for this.
I'm actually even more concerned about the top lane. I mean, there might be some contest down bottom that we'll have to take note of in the near future, but what does an Enigma bring to the table against a Timbersaw? They, again, I think they knew these matchups. I think they knew Timbersaw was top, that Batrider was mid, but right here we have an Enigma with his Basilius active and running with the Eidolons. But if Timbersaw just puts 1 point in reactive armor, soon to put 2 points in it, the Eidolons really don't do hardly any damage against that stout shield and that enhanced armor and HP regen. So it's really difficult for Bad underscore Slow Game to actually harass back BSR. And although he might get some experience, he's not actually going to have the gold advantage that you generally see on a solo Enigma.
And Lich now getting chased down by Shangzai in the jungle, but just going to be doing some dewarding. And I have to say, I really do love Shangzai wards. Look at them. Are they kooky looking?
Yeah. That is actually pretty interesting here. We're already seeing a rotation though. AA is going to go for a quick Firefly Napalm on top of Zhang Zai, who already has a pretty reduced movement speed, and he's going to stay on target with that. Don't think he's actually going to get the kill though, unless he dives very, very deep. Yeah, he's going underneath.
Guys, hold on a second. Lily has a disconnect, and I think our Skype call just got corrupted, so I'll try to be right back. Thanks. Well, no idea what's going on. Blaze is having a disconnect as well, so I'm just taking over for a second. Although I'm a very bad commentator, you have to, I guess, just live with it. So, not too much going on right now. Like middle some engagement, Batrider dropping quite low. And the Soul Assumption's gonna finish this off. This is the first blood for the Visage, and the pick just paid off, winning mid lane. Really nice play here. And yeah, so this should make a good pace of the game for Lowyat. And as Blaze stated, the reactive armor just helping BSR win the lane so hard. It's just incredible. And just hold on for a second while I try to get everyone back up. And it looks still like the Skype's down, so I just keep going, sorry. I don't know what's going on. Still SBC, she's restarting her router, so this should just take just a few moments. And actually on top lane we could see an engagement on the Enigma. I'm not too sure why the Alchemist not channeling the stun. And actually, again, the Batrider is going down, the Vicious picks up the kill, nice rotation coming out from the Chen. And this is absolutely gorgeous play by Lowyat here. 2 kills in the lead, and this is just gonna be more. Familiars are up now, and this could be a nice stun here, waiting for the Visage Familiars. 1-2 misses both, but still gets the kill, really nice. So we're looking at a nice 3-0 advantage for Lowyat, and this is absolutely crazy with the lineup they picked. Meanwhile on the bottom, it's actually quite fine for the lifestealer, 14-2 against the 20-3. I would have imagined it's worse. Actually on top lane, action again. The TPs are coming in, and this is the Alchemist just going down. Again with a nice Soul Assumption, just doing too much damage. The level's really paying off. So just let me check for a second for the Skype.
And we're back.
And it's still... Ah, actually Lily just reconnected, so I hope we can have a nice Skype call again. Alright, so here's the call. Thanks guys. I'm really sorry. And I guess
Alright,
Blaze
excellent. Sorry
and
about
Lily
that.
can take over again, and I'm muted. So, yeah.
Okay, excellent. All right, so what did I miss?
A lot,
Full-
actually.
Oh, yeah, wow.
So DDZ was able to get a kill. Actually, we'll see real quick on initiation on mid. No, Batrider is going to be able to get out of there. But essentially, AA was manning up on the Batrider, got a little bit too big for his britches, and was knocked down. And this started kind of a bit of a momentum for Visage. He got a follow-up kill by just having the magic stick available, and I guess the Batrider underestimating how survivable he was, along with the fact that the Chen rotated. So he gets a turnaround kill on this with the Soul Assumption, then a diving kill with a flanking Rubik, and then he rotates top because he's level 6 against level 2s and gets a kill with the Familiars. So he's just running rampant across the map. They've done some good damage to the tier 1 top, and now they're applying pressure to tier 1 mid.
Well, that's crazy.
Another lift up. This should be another kill. Quick damage. Mega kill streak for a Visage. Not even 7 minutes in.
I mean, Visage is definitely has got that high kill potential in the early game. That soul assumption, if you can level it up, is just devastating. And he did used to be run as a tri-lane carry. Well, no, the farmer in the tri lane back in the olden days before he got delegated to be a support. So I can definitely see the power of this. And he's actually going in for SD now.
Yeah. Trying to make something happen here. They do have the Moonlight Shadow, but TNK is going to end up stunning himself with this Unstable Concoction. That's not good for them. Frost Blast onto DDZ, but tanks it up with the Gravekeepers, and they'll be able to walk away. So, first Mirana ultimate, no successful kills, and they don't even feel very under control of their jungle right now.
Chat loves you, man. Yeah, so 0 to 5 at the moment, and that's a fantastic start, honestly, for Lowyat. I can see now, partially what they're going for in a mid lane, BBA actually going to be initiated on yet again.
Yeah, too much damage for them to deal with. They already, I mean, the Soul Summoner being maxed out. It's just so, once the damage starts rolling, there's really no coming back from it. The Soul Summoner has an amazing range. They, even at nighttime, they still have sufficient vision to bring their opponents down, and it just takes a quick Malefice and Fade Bolt, and that's a guaranteed kill. Now they get to push as much as they want to. It looks like Acid Spray is going to come out, but it's only 1 point in Acid Spray. And they're just burning down the tower with the Eidolons and the Familiars.
Well, I do have to say, Lowyat really are forced into a position with their lineup. They have to do this fantastic early game, and they definitely are pulling it off. But ultimately, if they didn't have, a lot of kills, a big lead in the early game, the lineup really wouldn't be able to go anywhere. And Lance is really not doing so hot on the farm. Only 26 CS. When you look at Priestess of the Moon, Lakels, he's already got up on MiTH. He's got up 1.2k gold as well as his boots. So he's doing fantastic on farm with 50 CS already. So, I mean, even though DDZ is having a fantastic start, they really have to rotate down to bot lane and start putting some pressure on Lakels ASAP, because he's going to be snowballing forward very, very quickly. And Lowyat have picked a very early game lineup. They've got the 4 intelligence heroes, and actually in mid lane TNK going to be going down. Another kill going for DDZ, but I mean, even so, I guess Lowyat just have to watch out for the Priestess of the Moon carry, who's going to be coming out of that bottom lane with probably face boots up and maybe going for something like a Desolator for extra damage, or possibly something like just a straight Manta to be able to dispel spells and just dodge some of the damage coming out.
Yep. It's definitely a fair point to make, but I still don't feel, I mean, it's not like you're letting a Phantom Lancer or an Anti-Mage farm. You're letting Mirana farm. She's a great semi-carry to carry, but she's not the most threatening thing with just one core item. She will be able to do some work, but I don't think it's going to just completely derail the gank train that Lowyat has been putting out thus far. Now we see Rubik picking up his own Midas. Lifestealer was smart enough to rotate to the top lane once he realized he was losing the direct CS contest down on bottom. So Lance has been able to boost up his farm, and he will have an armlet at a pretty good time. And meanwhile, kills galore. Medallion and Visage Familiars. A simple Grave Chill is all he needs to set up a kill on this Lich who doesn't barely have boots.
Yeah, I mean, really, Visage is a terribly scary hero. He's almost got the mech up, just needs 900 more gold. Going to be finding a double damage rune now, and they've got most of the T1 towers down. Bottom T1 tower, they are just pressuring now with bad slow game, and Pink is pinging it out, saying, hey, let's push it. Chen coming in as well. And so it looks like they will be going for it, and I really do have to say, I like the item builds that they're going for. Like you mentioned, Xiangzai on the Rubik picked up a hand of Midas, so he's going for a little bit more kind of gold dominance, and I mean, ultimately, he doesn't need items because he's not dying. He's 2-0 at the moment. He's got his boots up, and at 10 minutes into the game, really all Rubik normally has is straight boots, and he's going to have up mana boots or tranquils, depending on what he wants to go for in the not too distant future. And even bad slow game picking up a blink dagger, so he wants to go on mid lane, and man, they are both creeped up right now. He could get a black hole in 2 if he went in.
Oh, looking for it. At least the Malefice. There is going to be the leap going across, but still plenty of stuns. Should be in range for the stone form of the Familiars. Do they have any detection? They lift him up for starters, but it looks like they're not actually going to be able to catch him out because of the usage of the Moonlight Shadow. So I'm sure that's something they're going to rectify in the near minutes. They actually have a Sentry Ward here on Rubik, but that only just now came out on the Courier. One cool thing they did get out of it, though, is they actually stole the Moonlight Shadow for themselves, which could set up an even better black hole than Blink alone could create.
Well, yeah, I mean, even if they don't have the black hole, they can still go. Actually, looking like Lakels is going for a Lincoln Sphere. A very interesting one choice. I would have thought he'd go for a BKB. I'm not too sure what a Lincoln Sphere is going to add to him, but I guess that seems to be I don't know, the item choice for most carries these days is just going for MiTH and Lincoln Sphere. But yeah, Lowyat, all the tier 1 towers down, pressuring the tier 2s now, and they probably could go for the Roshan, honestly, with the Medallion up as well as the Enigma Mega Summons and the Familiars. They can take the Roshan quite easily with just those 2 heroes, so I wonder if
Not
they are
sure
going
what
to
all they're going to go. Diving
TNK.
underneath, they already get a huge burst just from Chen alone. A great macro from Ozune has 3 amazing creeps, really. The 2 Dark Troll Summoners, and of course the Centaur Conqueror on top of that. So great aura, great disables, great initiation, and now they can push without the threat of the acid spray, at least for a few more seconds. And they have the, as you said, they have the mechanism coming very, very soon. And on top of that, the Chen picked up I thought the Chen picked up the Vlads. It's on the courier right now. So that coming out will enhance their push so much. The tier 2s are dropping now, but I'm not saying they're breaching high ground. I'm just saying every single outer tier tower is going to be forfeit in the next few minutes unless something drastically changes in this game.
I haven't looked at the gold graph yet, but 7,500 in favor of Lowyat. Experience only about 2,000, but I think a lot of that is going to be because of the MiTH picked out by the Priestess of the Moon so early. She's going to be negating a lot of the experience, going her own way. Batrider has got the Blink Dagger up. I don't know if you called that, sorry, but that'll help a fair bit with initiation, but it looks like on bot lane, the Kells is going to be the target of choice. Batslow game going in, but can't quite get the black hole off. That nice ward coming out, defensive ward from MiTH is going to spot him out, so looks like they will just say, hey, well, whatever, we'll just push the tier 2 down and rotate to the Roshan pit would be my guess. Like I said, they can take the Roshan very easily, and now would be the time to. But 5-man coming out from MiTH, they want to defend this tower.
There is going to be the pickoff on Visage, potentially. Gravekeeper's Cloak being chewed through, but there's a black hole coming on. No, Chain Frost will interrupt it. Huge damage coming out of DDZ. He will fall, giving 1,000 gold to the Lich. He just jumped into the mid game with 1 single kill. Batrider in pursuit, dropping a couple of napalms. Huge damage coming out from the Kells, but they do lose the Bat. They will lose the Rubik. Now comes Seven Concoction to fly out onto Mozu, and this should be a 4-man swing. Ultra kill for SD. Huge damage flying out. He might drop to the Familiars, but I don't think so. So that is 4 for 1 with an amazing Chain Frost to interrupt what would have been an amazing black hole.
But on top lane, Lance and Bunks over are actually going man-moding against each other. And is either going to go... No, he tries to use his ultimate, the Infest, to get the last hit on that kill, but unfortunately Bunks over too quickly just manages to walk out of the way and Timber Chain out. But man, that Lich, he just picked up a MiTH.
When you jump up 2,000 gold in a matter of like 30 seconds, you might as well put it in. Just invest it. Just put it in a savings account, and you'll churn out a rank 3 ultimate and an Aghanim Scepter in no time at all.
So this looks like it might be turning into another 50-minute game, 1-hour game possibly. Potom almost got up her Lincoln. She just needs the recipe now and going to be about 1,000 gold away from that. Bunkslow Roti getting closer to that pick up of the Bloodstone, but he's still around about 2,000 or so gold away from it. Gem now picked up on DDZ as well as the mechanism, so they're going to be able to do some dewarding. There is a ward, for example, right here in the mid lane, which is scouting out the Roshan pit, and you can see that TNK is well aware that they are going to go for that Roshan fairly soon, so they're keeping an eye on it. And I do like this ward because it's not a typical one at EDC, occasionally, but DDZ might not notice to deward it. Is he going to notice it? Yes, Familiar should scout it out. So they will get the deward on it, but none too soon, because I think that TNK did have vision there of them going for the Roshan, so MiTH might be able to defend this.
Yeah, they still are burning it down very quickly with the medallions, with the Eidolons. They have a great Roche lineup as a whole, but like you said, they have a pretty good idea of what's going on. 3 currently in mid, 2 rotating top. Maybe look just for an arrow opportunity on Lance, but not right now. Nakadust the Roshan, dropping down 500 HP, and that Aegis the Immortal is going to end up going to Enigma, of all people.
So Enigma now with that Aegis, I mean, it will be quite helpful. It doesn't mean he can be... Oh, top lane. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, putting pressure on Lance. His Rage will expire. Concoction not going to come out in time. A nice infest defensively. He still has his armlet. Going to use it here. Will it be enough to bail him out of this situation? Lance running for the tower. He almost gets out, but Lakells drops a Starfall. He's still armlet toggles through it. Huge plays from Lance, surviving against all odds, and that just took a lot of resources from MiTH to rotate there. They pretty much sacrificed a Roshan just to have that opportunity on the Lifestealer, and they get nothing out of this. Instead, lose the Roche and lose the kill.
Yeah, it was a really nice counter rotation, and Hand of God just saving the life there of the lifestealer, plus that armlet toggling, just showing the power of armlet in the early game. Really, it can save your life if you've got the ability to time it. And now, Lowyat taking the opportunity to just do a bit of pressuring on the bot lane. They've got up the familiars as well as 310 creeps, just chucking down those tornadoes to force the creep wave back. But of course, very hard to push against Monk's LRT with that chakram as well as the Whirling Death just being tossed out, forcing back the creep wave as much as they can. And it looks like they actually are initiating, or pinging out to initiate if Lowyat do decide to stick around. It's just a 2v3 situation at the moment with that big stun coming out from TNK as well as the Chain Frost being available. Could be a bad situation for Lowyat to be in. But it looks like actually Bad Soul Games being the one they target
Even worse
down.
on top lane, actually. They are going to be right on top of the Enigma. He is actually getting his blink, so never mind. I think he's actually going to be able to get out of this no problem. So pressure's still on bottom, but nothing changing up on the top lane, except for maybe a pickup from the secret shop that Enigma could snipe. Nope. Haste on the courier, and now a dive underneath the tier 2s going on TNK. He pops the ultimate, regenerating through all the damage of DDZ, but a great familiar stone form. Really, really forcing them back for the moment. Tower dropping low, below 400. Lance wants to go in, wants to find a kill. He gets the open wounds, and that will be the kill. Visage just racking up that KDA at 9-1-3. Tower will drop, and that just puts even more gold in the pocket of Lowyat.
A lot of, well, money and kills for Lowyat, and just having a quick look at the gold graph. About 10,000 in favor of Lowyat, as well as experience being 2,000. The carry potential, though, of course, on MiTH is a little bit higher, but giving that Alchemist is just, oh, top lane, actually. Bad Soul Game getting initiated on yet again.
Yep, turning around for the Malphus, but that turn time is just so substantial with the Napalm, and now he is actually going to most likely waste the Aegis. Just one disable is all they need, but Blink Dagger is off cooldown since they don't have anything like Acid Spray to take that off when he respawns. Now, a Moonlight Shadow activated from the Radiant side, and yeah, BSR is right up close and personal with these guys, but they have the gem. They are trying to turn around on him. No concoction onto DDZ. Still doesn't hurt too much, but there's an arrow, which should net them the kill. A nice Chain Frost Test of Faith is not going to work out for him here, and actually gets hit by the Chain Frost again. Mozun should drop down to Lakel's auto attacks. Getting turned around upon, yeah, there's no hope for him here. Meanwhile, in the midst of things, we do have the Enigma setting up the Nake's Bomb. Lifestealer will be able to bring down the Lich. And now TNK getting stunned up. He might be able to get out, but only narrowly. Lakel's leap coming off in just 2 seconds. Has that Linken's. The Malphus is going to be negated, and they will be able to get on out of here.
And yet another kind of scrappy exchange, but of course DDZ is the mid hero, did die out then. He's going for that Arcanum Scepter, but it won't have it up for a fair amount of time. He had a fantastic, very early game, but unfortunately against the heroes from MiTH Trust and the teamwork they're showing, he's not able to kind of carry it forward. And it might be worth for him after picking up that Arcanum Scepter going for a Pipe. Pipe is very, very helpful when you're versing heroes like Lich that just want to nuke you down ASAP. And it would make him a lot more survivable, especially after the most recent nerf on...
bad position for AA to be in. He will actually lose the gem here. They killed the Visage, they stole the gem, but now they lose it as he's trying to scout out wards with his blink, and Enigma finds him instead.
And actually, they left the gem up there on the cliff. I think Enigma TP'd out too fast, and he didn't want to cancel the TP because then he would be stuck up there, but there's just a gem sitting on top of the cliff here. Right there.
It's a little awkward.
And they're not even using they are using the courier now to pick it up. Cool. So there we go. Gem is back in their favor, but I mean, of course, they don't have a carry on Lowyat, and there's the potential carry from the Priestess of the Moon, even though she did get picked off then, which is really, really a nice pick off for Lowyat, and they didn't even use the Enigma's Black Hole, so that's fantastic as well. And the Alchemist, who's going for kind of semi-carry items now. He's almost picked up the Medallion. He's got the Treads up, and possibly going to see an Urn as well, since he's going for the Gauntlets of Strength. As 2 of those usually implies, an Urn for the healing. But I mean, Alchemist really can just run to the middle of the team fight and tank up a whole bunch of damage and make space for that Priestess of the Moon to carry. And Lowyat, they've got the Lifestealer, of course, but he's going for very early game items. He's picked up the Sanjin Yasha now, so with the armlet, he's going to be quite tanky, but... Oh, actually...
And we do see DDZ. He's going to get lassoed up, but BSR being out of mana might not be able to contribute as much as they prefer. There's the mechanism, the turnaround damage at AABB. AA will fall. DDZ taking a lot of damage to SD with the Medallion, with the Soul Assumption, and he might be able to get out of this. Dropping low to the Acid Spray, but he Grave Chills away, and a Stolen Concoction goes right in the face of the Timber Saw. Gets dropped down. Meanwhile, top lane Chen pushing away with many creeps and quite a few Eidolons as well. Lance trying to get on top of TNK, but not going to find that opportunity. Either way, they take 3 They don't lose the Visage, and now they have taken out every single outer tier tower in the game.
Yeah, and the gold advantage really is strong for them. And I mean, at this point, they need to start pushing. It's about 22 minutes into the game at this point, and I would say by 25 minutes they have to get a Rax down. But of course, looking at all these units in the top lane, they should be finding a fairly even Rax. Not much defense potential coming out from MiTH. They've really got only the Chakram, which of course Timbersaur's dead at the moment, so no way he's going to be able to throw that out. And Priestess of the Moon are actually getting initiated on.
Yeah, just a little bit back and forth, but look at Enigma's positioning specifically. He's trying to stay back out of the Estus Prey. He has Blink and BKB. All he has to catch is the Lich in his ultimate. Pops the BKB, looking for his opening, but he's walking right into the Estus Prey, so he cannot blink. Just looking for the stun. There's a black hole, but it's completely whiffed. PGG black hole, and even interrupted by the Chain Frost. That was a zero-man black hole that still got interrupted. So not what they're looking for, but they got the Mirana. They got the Alchemist. They will take these Drax. Now we see BSR taking a Malefice, taking some hits, and he will drop down. They've taken the melee, taken the range, and this might be GG right here.
What an interesting, unique lineup coming up from Lowyat. Putting a Visage mid against a Batrider, never seen before, but apparently it worked perfectly well, especially with the roaming supports, like you said, even though I missed it. But Rubik and Chen coming around the map, just helping out, and Rax down 23 minutes into the game. MiTH just don't have the heroes, I would say, capable of defending this, and SD going to go down yet again. Buyout from Timbersaw, but what can he really do? There's 5 heroes there, and a carry is still dead for another 5 seconds.
Buys him a little bit of time to cut down some trees. That's all he's really wanting here. But no, the tower is going to drop. That's no question at all. They've already lost the Rax. They are in such behind as far as the momentum goes. They're going to go for a lasso here, but the test of faith means Lance probably won't even drop. No, he gets out. The arrow is not going to hit on anyone here. And although Les still is taking some hits, he will turn off his armlet. And I think they can just retreat from here. 4 staffs away. Lakel's leaping for a kill. He does have some decent night vision. The arrow, 2 seconds. He can't possibly get it. So now one more target remains, the Enigma. But he is going to have enough mana for his blink. And there's just no way for Lakel's to pursue. So they've lost a lot on the top lane. They don't get the income nearly as much as they did before with this continuously pushing creep wave up top. And their tier 3 is in a very, very critical status as well.
Yeah, it's... I mean, Argonim Septonaut picked up onto the Visage, so he's going to have those 3 little familiars flying around the map, just doing a lot of damage. Roshan is about to respawn. Visage familiars, of course, scouting that out. And, I mean, Lowyat's lineup, it was designed to dominate in the early game. They had a whole bunch of squishy intelligence heroes, but they had enough push lineup to take the high ground. They had the Visage, of course, they had the Enigma, and they also had the Chen. So with all those summons, they could definitely take the high ground, and they did. They took the Rax down at 22 minutes into the game. And now, well, MiTH they just don't have a coping mechanism. I mean, they don't really have that hard carry that will be able to, out-carry the game, even if they do lose the Rax. They don't have a Phantom Lance or an Anti-Mage. And I think at this point, Lowyat just waiting to maybe wait for the Roshan to respawn, like I said, or they could just straight away go just take the high ground and win the game like that.
This is not going to be good. Rubik has Force, Blink, and Lasso with Nyx inside him. This is the ultimate gank bomb. They take off the Lincoln so they can go ahead and lasso Mirana. Point blank range, and Lakel's is gone. Gonna have to buy back immediately if they have any chance of holding this, but it doesn't look like...
So I guess I'll just take over again. So we're having a nice push here. Game's pretty much over, I guess, since top lane is actually pushed. And look at Lance just doing so much damage to the fucking Rex. So... there you are. I muted again. So, yeah.
Mid-Rax is down now. And I think we're just waiting for maybe the GG to come out. I'm not really one to say it's game over before the throne is down, but this isn't a 50-minute farm fest where anything can happen. This is a 25-minute game. Bungcell RT. Gonna be going down unstoppable streak yet again on DDZ.
I don't know. I'm at this point, I'm almost tapped out of this game as much as Alchemist seems to be, but yeah, of course, Timbersaw trying to do a little bit of split plus shenanigans. They're going to have none of that. They have the mobility to counteract it, even a Blink Dagger on Lance. So that's right, he can infest inside a Rubik, who can then force staff himself forward, blink himself forward, and then Nyx will jump out of the Rubik to blink on top of the entire team. So that's the game plan. We'll see it happen in mid in just 2 seconds. Gonna go in. Enigma trying to redeem himself with a black hole, but Lich is too close at hand. So he's actually just right-clicking down TNK, who has been stunned up, lifted up, and finished off with no trouble at all. Moving in towards the mid lane. That Rax is gone. They will just be able to go in and rotate to the unprotected tier 3 down bottom.
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now. Trouble brewing at Radiant's bottom tower. Someone's having technical difficulties.
So there it is. GG
Yes,
comes
GG
out.
called.
Yeah. Lowyat will take the series 2-0. After that first game that was just so dramatic, this feels so anticlimactic, but may the better team win and move on to the finals, huh?
Yeah, well, congratulations to Lowyat, like you said, for making it through 2-0. And bad luck to MiTH, but of course they did play their best. Really, really nice first game. This second game was just crazy. Those peaks from Lowyat, I was not expecting in such a game, but very well played by DDZ there and the rotations from the sports. And thank you, of course, to the Steelseries for sponsoring this tournament, and to Dota Talk for allowing me and Blaze to cast this. And everyone, go follow Pimp Muckle on Twitter. Apparently, you all love him and hate me, so screw you guys. But really, it's let me type it out again because I always forget how to spell it. You got it on screen? Wait, where's it on screen? Oh, okay, got it on screen. Excellent. Thanks, guys.